Hello, everyone, and we have a big dose of crypto news for you. First of all, the president of Colombia is a Bitcoin holder now. No, this is not Columbia University. This is actually Colombia, the country. And now there is some expectation that Colombia is going to adopt Bitcoin because when your glorious leader buys some Bitcoin, that's usually an inclination that he might be more favorable to the cryptocurrency. Colombia, obviously, it's another developing world country. The South American countries, they have a lot of some drug issues, and maybe Bitcoin would help them stabilize the country somewhat. That would be great for Colombia, especially if they have economic turmoil. I think having a globally priced market-based coin would actually help them if their own currency is not doing so well. So I think that does indicate a willingness to actually look into Bitcoin for a country that might be having some economic trouble. I haven't really looked at Colombia recently, but I know some years ago they were definitely in some economic turmoil. The guy's name is Gustavo Petro, and he's become a holder of Bitcoin. So they also are looking at potential implementation and social projects with Bitcoin and blockchain technology. And of course, they're looking at new policies as well. So very exciting stuff in Colombia. And like with Colombia, Taiwan, El Salvador, and like other countries warming up to Bitcoin, it won't be long before there's a global alliance of smaller countries that actually accept Bitcoin, maybe even as legal tender, but implementing the technology and maybe implementing Bitcoin as a currency. And that'll put more pressure on bigger countries to do so the same, or at least have better regulations regarding these things. So Colombia might be adopting Bitcoin. They're talking about implementation of new projects. The president now holds Bitcoin, and it's looking positive for South America at this point. And that Latin America is a big untapped economy. Yes, a lot of it is very messy, a lot of regimes in there, regime changes, economic uncertainty, but you have both Argentina and Colombia and El Salvador in Central America that looks like to be pro-Bitcoin, and hopefully that'll have some effect in North America in the future. Bitcoin futures demand has actually surged. So people are more interested in Bitcoin now because people who buy futures, they're trying to gamble on Bitcoin. And so there's more excitement with the market. And this is mostly institutional investors. So institutional interest in Bitcoin, whether it's buying or selling, has actually increased. I think all of you know my view on futures. I don't think they should exist in crypto at all, but they're a necessary evil in any market. So the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Bitcoin futures market demonstrated a surging demand from institutional investors, surpassing Bitcoin's BTC futures market in terms of its size. The development underscores a growing confidence among these investors in Bitcoin's potential to breach the $40,000 mark in the near future. So if you don't really know, the futures data actually has pointed at $40,000 for a while and above $40,000. So eventually it is going to breach. A lot of the data on the secondary market actually points to it. They currently boast Bitcoin futures open interest of 4.35 billion, a level not seen since November 2021. And November 2021 was obviously our peak, so we're getting back to that peak excitement. But that's a little misleading because the actual peak interest for crypto was April 2021. November 2021 was a resurgence, but there wasn't quite the volume to actually support that resurgence. I think it was mostly SBF. But the thing is, because Bitcoin reached $69,000, there was at least some interest in Bitcoin then. So there's a significant uptick in interest in Bitcoin, whether it's futures or even spot. And the market is rumbling and things are happening. So basically, it's 125% interest in CME's BTC futures open interest. And really, the liquidities in the futures market a lot of times is a precursor for more activity on the spot market as well. It went from 1.93 billion in mid-October to over $4 billion. So the thing is, the interest in Bitcoin, the interest in Bitcoin information, the interest in Bitcoin trading is massively surging on the futures market, and I think that's going to reflect on the spot market soon. And overall volume will go up, which means liquidity will go up regardless of what the SEC or regulators do. There's very little they can do to actually stop the interest in Bitcoin once it actually arrives. We got the ETF, we got the halvings, and people are seeing that the SEC is not invincible, and they're not taking the SEC threats as big now as they were before because they realize that the SEC can actually be beaten. So there's a lot of futures interest, there's a lot of market interest And soon that will carry over to the spot market. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the ETFs that are coming up. Cristiano Ronaldo, the legendary soccer player with a power level of over 9,000, but not quite as high as Messi, he is going to settle the Binance lawsuit for only $750,000. Now, $750,000 may sound like a lot to us, but for for Ronaldo, it is peanuts, basically. And remember, he was originally sued for $1 billion, not $1 million, $1 billion. And the settlement is less than 1/1000th of what he was actually sued for. So remember this when you see a big amount, when plaintiffs are suing for money, they usually don't get anywhere near that amount. So they get like less than 1/1000th of what they were actually suing for. I think like if Ronaldo actually fought the case, he would have probably won. But it's cheaper for him to settle the lawsuit for $750,000 than to actually settle the case. I do think this is one of the major problems with the justice system because like people just don't want to fight these cases, so they settle and give the people that are suing the money that they want because it's less expensive for them to fight the case. I think that is something that needs to be addressed in the legal market. But yes, he is settling the Binance for promoting Binance for $750,000, most likely because it would actually cost him more to actually fight the case because it could drag on for months and it could cost millions of dollars to actually fight the case. Hopefully this does not embolden these guys to sue other, I guess, like advertisers for Binance. IOTA has launched a 100 million Middle Eastern expansion. We talked about this a little bit, but now we're seeing it come more into, like more solid. So basically, like they are, the new foundation will be supported by $100 million in IOTA digital tokens, which will be vested throughout the course of the next 4 years. One of the primary goals of the foundation is to push for accelerated growth of its DLT, and they're doing it in the UAE and in the Middle East because they think it's more feasible to do it in the Middle East than the United States, and they specifically said so in their quote. The market right now is being reshuffled, so we have big opportunity to position ourselves by focusing on onboarding institutions, offering them to work on-chain because now it's more feasible to do that in the UAE. I think this is going to be a shot at US regulators that they're making the market and the environment extremely unfriendly toward crypto projects, and crypto projects are not afraid to leave, and the US is going to lose out on the innovation, lose out on the money, and lose out on the jobs. And US lawmakers definitely have to think twice about that, especially if they want the money, the innovation, and the technology in their state. So IOTA is another one that's left the United States for the UAE, and because they've done that, they have easier regulations to work with, and there actually might be a reemergence of IOTA. So it is a coin that you will want to keep your eye on. Probably wouldn't toss a lot into it right now, but it definitely something that you don't want to just forget about at this point because they might have a reemergence and they might just make up for some of the time they've lost in the last 5 years. Polygon and DraftKings obviously had some corruptive deals in there. So about 2 years ago, Polygon announced a partnership with DraftKings. But what they didn't tell their investors was that was just a paid promotion by DraftKings. They paid DraftKings tens of millions of dollars to be a Polygon validator. And they gave them preferential treatment over all their other validators, despite saying that all validators are equal. Obviously, they were all equal, but just some are more equal than others, just like Animal Farm with Napoleon the pig, if you've ever read that story. All validators are equal, but some validators are just more equal than others. And now that's been exposed. Not very good PR for Polygon. Don't know if it'll be like crucial for them or something. But the worst part about this is if it was corruption, it was massively failed corruption because it does seem like DraftKings has ditched Polygon and the validator is no longer functional. So not only did they pay tens of millions of dollars for DraftKings to become a partner validator and give them preferential treatment over all the other validators, they basically got ditched by the same validator. So it's kind of like, yeah, very bad look for Polygon. Desperation, folks. And KyberSwap is in a bad situation. It faces a hostile takeover. What that means is, remember that guy that hacked KyberSwap for millions of dollars? He is demanding that they hand over the company to him. Like, he's basically like, I want full control of the company and all the assets to the company. What I will do is I will buy out the current management, reshuffle things, give everyone their money back, and develop Kyberswap into glory. Now, would I actually give this guy full access to the assets and everything in Kyberswap? Hell no, I wouldn't, because there's a good chance that if you give him everything he wants, he will just rug pull. So he's going to demand everything and then rug pull you, and he's not going to buy. I don't think he's going to buy the management team out. He's trying to make himself sound like the hero in this situation, but he is just a dirty hacker, realistically. And I think there's a good chance that he just wants all the funds for himself. There is no way I would give him full control of all the assets, of all the accounts of Kyber Network, give him complete control over the company. And because there is nothing to guarantee that he will keep his promises. We don't really know who he is, so we can't send the federal ninjas after him. But I think to discourage hacking, we do actually need to send the federal ninjas after these people and make an example out of them. We should find them and crush them with great vengeance. Throw them in jail because they did break the law, and throw them in jail and make an example out of them so other people will stop actually hacking and breaking into crypto accounts and crypto platforms, because they need to know that there are consequences. Like right now, it's like if you hack into a crypto account, there will be a reward for you. But it needs to be like, if you try to actually steal other people's money, we will crush you with great vengeance and you're going to be thrown in jail. See, there needs to be incentive for them to not do those things. But right now, we're just giving them incentive to do those things. You can have white hat competitions all you want, but the thing is, like, we should not be so nice to those who hack accounts and drain people's money. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.